What's up, everybody? Hope y'all having a good day. Uh, as always, lots of stuff going on. Haven't been on here much. I know I've been away for a little bit and everything like that. I've been taking care of stuff here at home, landscaping, gardening, and everything like that, plus other stuff that we got going on and everything. And of course, everything that's going on, really, guys, it's something new almost hourly, just about at least 2 or 3 times a day. We've got some kind of new calamitous situation going on, whether it's about the war, the poverty, famine, people dying from hunger or being shot when they go this, that, and the other. Uh, just everything under the sun just about is going on right now. It's just, keep your head on swivel. Right now, let's talk about the Yellowstone stuff. Now, there's been a lot of animals moving away and everything like that, and people talk about it. Some people saying it's an annual migration, and that's far from the truth, of course. Did some little checking, and annual migration for these animals, the bears, the wolves, the cats, and the buffalo, and things like this, they don't go anywhere until around the fall of the year unless it's forced migration because of lack of food and stuff like this. But of course, that's not the situation. Of course, we know that there's ample grasslands in the Yellowstone area. So some other reason why is going on, why these animals are vacating the area of Yellowstone. What comes to mind, of course, is first off is frequencies. We know that in Yellowstone they have all kinds of seismic monitors going on, but these also receive and emit frequencies. Now, whether or not this has anything to do with the animals scattering away from the area or not, it's hard to say. But that is a thing going on. Plus, we've had some very strange weather going on, flooding and stuff, all over the place in the United States. And of course, that could have something to do with it. But there's been no real recorded flooding in the areas of Yellowstone as of yet that I know of. Minor flooding, but nothing like we've seen in other areas. So that may not be the reason why. The other thing that comes to mind is, of course, Earth seismic activities or volcanoes and things like that. We well know that animals sense these things well beyond anything that might happen, and they vacate the place or move away from or try to escape away from this seismic activity or volcanoes, whatever, rising heat, as soon as possible. But usually it's within days, a day or two of whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And of course, it's been a few days since it's been noted about this great migrations going on. So that may not be the reason why. Another reason why is because of the rising temperature in the ground, the water supply being toxic, or anything like that. We heard the report about this bison that fell into one of the springs in Yellowstone and scalded themselves to death without being able to get out. And why this buffalo, the bison, got itself into the situation is still unclear. But it did happen. They died, and there's bits of fat, leftover fat from the bison that melted in this pool, dissolved in this pool that's laying all over the ground near the thing. So that's kind of odd that this is going on. So the question I have here about this is why is there no reports about the animals that's closer to the ground or in the ground, like rabbits and of course I know squirrels might be a little scarce in that area, but I'm sure they are. Birds and things like that. What about the prairie dogs and the coyotes and things like that? Are there any reports on these animals leaving the area? Because the ones closer to the ground would be more sensitive to the effects of any kind of seismic or earth change, and therefore would be more apt to vacate the area as well as the larger animals. Another thing I've been noticing here as we've been digging around and planting and digging and everything, redoing this and everything like that is I have not seen, neither one of us has seen that much of earthworms, night crawlers, earthworms, not even the grubs or the burrowing beetles that goes into the ground just under the surface. And as much as I've dug, guys, and believe you, I've dug a lot of stuff here in the last few months, both of us have, and we have hardly seen any earthworms or any grubs or any burrowing beetles or anything like that in the ground. I've gone down several inches, over a foot down, and still have not seen that many insects, burrowing insects or creatures in the ground. So I'm just wondering, I'm asking you to find out if you have noticed this yourself also, if you've been tinkering around in your dirt and stuff like that or anywhere else, lifting up rocks or whatever, have you seen any worms? Have you seen any snakes? Have you seen any grubs or anything like that? And those of you that's in contact with people in the Northwest, are they seeing any emergence of these ground animals, rabbits, squirrels, prairie dogs, and things like this, smaller animals, leaving the affected areas where the bison and the cats and bears are leaving. So that's the question I have about this, man. Maybe y'all can find out something, knowing people here and there and everywhere, or know who to ask about it. But let's hear what you have to say about it, and leave a comment if you have anything that you might want to add to this and everything. But it is odd that this one area is evacuating. The animals are leaving that area, and it's curious of what's causing this and which animal species are being affected by this mass evacuation exodus. So, is there a cataclysmic event getting ready to happen? A lot of people say yes, and I want to step back a little bit. Several years back, that Obama sent out letters to several nations. I think there was 20 in all, asking them to be able to, if they would be able to take in U.S. refugees, American refugees, because of a cataclysmic event that's getting ready to happen. And of course, all these askings letters was denied. In other words, no country is willing to take in American refugees anywhere around the world that was asked about this. So that puts us in a very dire situation if some kind of cataclysmic event was to happen in the United States and destroy pretty much all of our infrastructure or living personnel. I did a little checking again on what would happen if Yellowstone popped, and I'm sure everybody else has done so, or you should have. But basically, guys, I'm going to read off here just a little bit. The effects of Yellowstone, if it did pop off, would probably affect the United States and the world for at least 30 years. The climate change would be drastic. Most areas in the United States would drop anywhere from 10 to 20 degrees lower year round than what it currently is. And again, the effects would be there for 30 years. The amount of ash would cover the entire state of Texas with, I think it was 5 inches of ash if it was all collected in one area. So this would be distributed all across the United States. Most of the areas affected would be closer to the volcano. The protoplasmic effect of said volcano, if it was to go off, would incinerate everything within 100 miles of its explosion. Everything. Nothing would live within 100 miles. So it makes us wonder why these animals are leaving Yellowstone. So, and it goes on and everything like that, but this could be the beginning. Now, this effect would go around all the way around the world, north, south, east, west, whatever, and everything, all 4 corners, if you will. But that would start the mini ice age, as some people talked about. Several years back, a lot of people was on board about talking about the mini ice age that was coming. And then all of a sudden the story stopped. Everybody stopped talking about it. They said, well, it's a rise and fall of the scheduled or regular grand solar minimum and maximum. And they just kind of went off about it. And I've asked a couple of people why they have gone off the story. And a couple of these people I've asked just gave me a thumbs up on the reply, but they never did answer. But the main story was back in 2016, 2017, 2018 about the climate change was that we are entering a mini ice age that will last up to 800 years. Now, is this cataclysmic event with Yellowstone part of it, or is it all of it? I want to back up a little bit that we've been having a lot of activity on the Ring of Fire, especially from the Aleutian Islands, Russia, Aleutian Islands, all the way down the west coast, all the way down to what they call the Seaxle Mount. That's off the coast of Oregon. A very big-ass volcano there. Now, if you draw a line, of course, we can draw a line and do this, that, and other, connect to pretty much anything. But if you look at Google Earth or Google Maps or everything, whatever, you can almost draw a straight line from the Seaxle Mount to Mount Rainier, which is very active right now, all the way to Yellowstone. And all 3 of those places right now are very, very active with seismic activity as well as volcanic eruptions. You can go ahead and fact check me all you want to and everything, but that's just the truth. Are we getting ready to face one of the biggest major cataclysmic volcanic events that the Earth has ever seen? One of the things that brings it to mind, guys, of course, we're seeing a lot of people going underground and everything like that. And I want to go back here a little bit about some of the things I've talked about before, is that we are running out of minerals in the earth. I've mentioned gold and other minerals like this and everything like that, and that we are running out of resources. Okay, we're running out of trees, we're running out of animals, we're running out of minerals, resources and everything, guys. And so They have no way of revitalizing Earth to get more resources than to somehow bring it up. One of the things about the thing is gold and other things like this, guys. There's an abundant supply deep within the Earth. It's there. They have no way of reaching it unless they can find some kind of system or method of bringing these deep earth minerals and substances to the surface or close to the surface where they can be reached by mining methods that we have currently available. So the only way I know of, unless you got an elevator that goes down there and puts that little midget people around digging around in the ore channels, is to bring the stuff up is to have an eruption of some kind, a steam powered perhaps, or a lava powered eruption bringing minerals back to the surface. It's well known that's one of the methods that the earth revitalizes its mineral resources by eruptions. So we go back over the last 10 or 15 years, perhaps even 20 years, we have been seeing a reduction year after year of available clean drinking water. Fresh water, even our ocean levels, has dropped a little bit, even though they're telling us at the rising, they are not. We are actually, land masses are actually sinking. So we have a disappearance of water going on globally, and we live in an enclosed ecological system, which means basically we live in a bubble. So within that ecological system, we don't lose resources, we don't lose water, we use them, but they are always there, whether in the basic form of carbon or whatever. And water is pretty basic. So water just doesn't disappear. It has to be used or gone somewhere or stored if we don't have it available. And the only place available to store this much water is underground in deep caverns, tunnels, and things like that, in vast different places underground. And as we know, the core of Earth is heating up more and more each and every day. And they said a reverse direction, which is kind of odd. I didn't notice it, but of course our days are getting shorter. But anyway, the core is heating up, and when the core heats up, this water that's stored underground will become pressurized, much like a pressure cooker or your tea kettle. When you start heating it up, pretty soon that water turns to steam, pressurized steam, and when it ejects out of the earth, bringing lava, molten rock, molten minerals to the surface of the earth and everything, that resupplies our minerals on the surface. This includes gold, iron, copper, nickel, etc., silver, everything, guys. We are running out of these basic minerals that we need to survive with or make our modern society work. And the only way that we can bring them out is either go down in the ground and bring them up, or have the ground bring them up to us, or go up into space with these asteroid catchers and start mining materials from these asteroids, which I've heard they are doing. We're also doing deep sea mining on the ocean floors and bringing out minerals from the ground. We are destroying the earth from inside out, guys, and it's getting really, really bad what they're doing to it. So anyway, that's what's going on with this. My estimate is that these volcanic activities is going on because the core of the earth is being heated up, and the heated core is heating water to steam and pushing these ejectiles, this material, this minerals back to the surface. Therefore, they can start harvesting it. Go ahead and look it up and everything, guys. There's no real proof of it, but that does make kind of like sense. So not only do we have the Sea Axle Mount and Mount Rainier and Yellowstone going on, there's other places throughout the world that's acting the same way, such as in Japan, all the way down into shit, I can't think of the thing right now, but down through India and all that stuff like that, Istanbul and everything. Guys, we are having volcanoes go on. The reason why is the Earth's core is heating up, and of course when it heats up, pressure rises, and the rising pressure spits things out. So what's causing the water event, the floods, guys? This ties into what's going on with the floods. We've seen cataclysmic flooding going on all over the United States, all over the world. And where does this water come from? It is not inches of rain falling from the sky, guys. There's just not really that possible with that much rain. Of course, they're saying it is. But the water is coming from underground, where they've been storing this water, where it's been pressurized, where it's been forced up to bring minerals to the surface. As soon as it starts bringing to the surface, they have a flood, a big rain, and they claim that it's a large amount of water coming out of the sky, but it's actually coming from the ground, where they've been storing the water for just such an event. So think about it, guys. It does kind of make a lot of sense about this. Of course, I'm a little wacko, crazy and everything, but they're wacko crazy too. So, it takes one to know one, right? Uh, Another thing that's been going on, guys, and I've not been watching everything going on, and I make my comments, and then I forget to write them down and everything like that. Anna and I keeps up with a lot what's going on, and we talk about these things amongst ourselves and everything to come up with kind of good idea what's going on. One of the things we did, we watched a little movies here and there. We watched the Humanity movie called Humanity Bureau with Nicolas Cage in it the other day. And in the beginning, they talked about something happened in 2017 that shortly after it, the United States did something that was unusual. They secured their borders, all 4 borders. It was locked down completely because of, I forget what the threat was and everything, but the basis of the movie. But anyway, guys, the humanity had to have been divided. Everybody was put into like 15-minute cities. Humanity Bureau went around hunting down people that was useless to the system, and they was brought to New Eden, the city where it was and everything. And they was processed and hacked up, ground up, whatever, and used for something else. But the thing of it was, they said that shortly after 2017, that the United States would secure its borders, shut off all communications, all outside contact with other nations throughout the world and everything, and make sure it was isolated to itself. Now, I want us to look at what's going on right now with the United States. Not only have we basically pulled out of NATO, we stopped funding it, basically not responding to their needs, we also pulled away from the WHO and so many other international treaties and organizations that we've been part of over the years. And we have been pulling back our troops from overseas quite a bit, as well as armament. Just yesterday, they talked about is coming out and saying that Trump has ordered all nukes from Europe, or at least a large number of nukes from Europe, to be redistributed back to the United States, securing our borders again. Now, we got the southern border secured with National Guard, etc., etc. We got National Guard over on the West Coast. We got National Guard and troops over there around D.C., up and down the East Coast. And we got them scattered throughout here and there around the northern border. I also got Canada acting as a watchdog for us on our northern border, if we could trust them. Now, the western Canadian states are the ones that's in question for them to join along with the alliance with the United States, all the way up to Alaska, as well as the Northwest Territory and Greenland also. So this is basically Trump securing our northern border with nukes. We're moving nukes into Canada, around the western edge of Canada, if y'all haven't heard. They are moving active nukes up and down through there. So everything's looking like we're getting ready to go do a throwdown with somebody. Who it is, we don't know, but we are securing our borders for an invasion. We are securing ourselves from the rest of the world, cutting off ourselves from the rest of the world of supplies and everything like that, materials. One of the things Trump is doing is really pushing it is to encourage the United States manufacturing its own goods and everything. I mentioned this a while back that that's one of the ideas behind Trump's motives right now, is to make sure the United States is able to support itself with its own durable goods and food supplies and everything like that. And if you look at what he's been doing, that is exactly what he's doing. He's encouraging manufacturing to go on in the United States, food production to increase in the United States, etc., and to become independent away from other foreign sources and influence and everything like that. Securing our independence from other foreign countries and everything, securing our borders, if you will. Also, I see signs of martial law or some kind of similar thing like that, such as lockdowns. They are still going door to door, guys, doing door to door. Who lives here? Let me see your ID. They are stopping people on the street, asking for identification and proof of citizenship. This is going on, even though it's not being reported on mainstream news. This is going on. So we are seeing this go on right now. Not only expelling foreigners, illegals and everything, people that's not supposed to be here, but also attacks on persons that are legally supposed to be here and being questioned about their citizenship. Normal people that look a little bit like you and me and everybody else. So this is going on, guys, right now and everything like that. We are going more to watch this Humanity Bureau movie. I encourage you, if you want to, go watch it. It's free to watch on several locations. But they talk about what's getting ready to go down and how they're going to start taking people that's useless to society to a re-education camp. or reutilization camp, if you will. Uh, so that's going on. I'm going to bring in something else, guys. I've been saving this for another video and everything. I'm going to go ahead and bring about it and everything. It's kind of gloomy and everything, but it's the reality of what the world is. See, they've been telling us for a long time that our population is the problem. Our population growth is really a big problem. And they have been trying openly to reduce or slow down the population growth. There is a reason why. They're afraid that once we reach a certain magical number, that the earth will no longer be able to sustain itself. It will collapse upon itself and everything will die off. Okay, there is this magic number. I want to step back a minute. One of the things they've been talking about for a long time now is the population growth of a society or a nation, whatever. And they've said that once a population reaches the growth rate of less than 1.7, it is bound to fail. United States, England, and several other Western nations have the population growth of less than 1.63% or less. The United States is at 1.63 right now. We are less than what they said is a population recovery for society is possible without influx of new genetic material or new birth rate growth somehow or another. So maybe that's why Trump wants everybody to start having babies again. But we also see the reason why the new influx of immigration for people is to revitalize our population, or the nation's population. They're not so much worried about who is what or where they come from or what color their skin is or anything like that. Feet on the street is what they call about it. It's body count, body count, body count. In order for a nation to be strong, they need more people producing, more people paying taxes, giving this and that and the other, or else a nation falls. So they don't care who it is, as long as they got somebody there paying taxes and producing and making for them. So that's one of the reasons why we've had the sudden increase of immigration in the Western populations, Western nations and everything, because as a whole, without this aid, we are bound to fail. We are bound to self-extinction by pretty much all measures and everything, and then we'll be ripe for overrunning by another country like Mexico or Cuba or who knows, Africa. But anyway, that's the thing, guys. Okay, so they are trying to do, even though no matter what they did to bring our population down to this level, whether it's by ourselves or the medication or social media or whatever else they use, but our population is in deadly low levels that we're going to self-extinction. So they brought in new blood. They did it on purpose, etc., whatever the reasons was. But here's the thing, guys. The Earth population, they have said, they're saying is around 8.3 to 8.5 billion people. Well, they're wrong. New estimates are coming out that this is a very low ball number, very low number. They're saying that it's over 9 billion people, perhaps even more than that. Now, these so-called experts long ago had said that once our planet reaches a certain population, it will no longer be able to sustain itself. That's why they went into this long-term depopulation agenda, achievable by 2000 or 2050, I think it is. And everything's going to be flipped around. Of course, these people are going to go underground, hide out until the earth recovers and starts over again. You know, kind of like a cycle thing that they do. Well, we've already reached past this magic number by new estimates. They're saying they have miscounted or undercounted the population of less than developed countries and everything. That magic number, guys, if y'all want to know, is 10 billion. Around 10 billion people. Right now, the current population, by some estimates, is around 9.3, 9.4, something like that. And some of these people, these so-called experts that know about it, said we're well over 10 billion, which is the number they said is the collapse number, the magic number that a society, a country, a world will collapse, is no longer able to sustain itself. So if this is true or not, I don't know. I'm just saying this is what they're telling us right here. We also have these other anomalies going on, not only inside the earth, the great eruptions of the volcanoes and earthquakes and the floods and everything like that. we also have these cosmic influences with other things. This Atlas thing, the one, whichever one they talk about next. Also, we don't want to forget about Nemesis and Nibiru and other things like that. And the not Planet Nine that somehow mysteriously appears and disappears and is renamed and has a new name, or another one's called Planet Nine. I think we done had three of them called Planet Nine in the last several years. So guys, whether you like it or not, what we're facing now is an event that is going to wipe out population of the world. There's no doubt about it. One way or another, it's going to happen. This is a cycle that happens every so many thousands upon thousands of years. And right now it's coming to one of those big cycle changes. We've seen cycles change every 2,000 years. We've seen a cycle change every 3,600 to 4,000 years, 12,000 years, and I think we're around a 120,000 year cycle that we're getting ready to embark upon. So everything's going to change, guys. Everything's going to change. There's no doubt about it. Who survives is questionable. If anybody survives is questionable. Of course, then again, all the resets that we had, all the cycles ending that we have ever had, one or another type of humanity has emerged and has evolved and conquered the world again. Hope you all have a groovy day. Later, taters.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!